In the justice system, people are criminalized by two flawed yet equally idealized groups: the police and the district attorneys. What you see on TV is not realistic at all. In the first episode of our series on policing, we looked at how images of police standing in solidarity with protesters have been used in an effort to sway public opinion in favor of law enforcement, even when those images were immediately contradicted by violent actions taken by police minutes or hours later. These biased images in our media are often referred to as police propaganda or copaganda, a word that encompasses things like memes, news stories that might use police as their only source, and perhaps in its most powerful form, movies and television. These scripted films and shows are a mainstay on TV. For broadcast networks, cop shows make up roughly half of their programming. They include Law & Order, Law & Order Criminal Intent, Law & Order SVU, NCIS, NCIS Los Angeles, NCIS New Orleans, CSI, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Bosch, The Rookie, Fargo, Lucifer the Shield, Hawaii Five-0, Chicago PD, Southland, The Wire, True Detective, and Blue Bloods. Am I paranoid, or are there cop shows everywhere? You might be thinking to yourself, can a fictionalized TV cop show actually sway my thoughts on the real police? Well, according to a Hollywood Reporter poll, 45% of adults in the US say they believe police shows accurately reflect what cops do. And a 2019 survey of nearly 1,700 police officers showed that 27% of them said that media portrayals of cops were a major reason why they were drawn to law enforcement. Whether they're centered on a family of cops, funny wokish cops, gritty cops, or cops with sexual tension, these shows all give their audience the same fundamental message. Cops spend their time fighting crime, preventing drug deals, or capturing serial killers and terrorists. But it's not true. Here are 3 out of the many myths that Hollywood reinforces about policing. Myth 1. Cops spend most of their time in dangerous situations, capturing the bad guys. While it makes for good entertainment, catching dangerous criminals is just not what most cops spend the majority of their time doing. As we mentioned in our first episode, a New York Times survey of 10 major cities showed incidents involving violent crime made up less than 1% of 911 calls in cities like Seattle, New Orleans, and Baltimore. Yes, Baltimore, a place HBO's disproportionately white subscribers probably only know from The Wire. The New York Times data also showed that police only spend about 4% of their time responding to violent crime. That means the vast majority of their job is dealing with non-criminal calls and handling traffic. So if CHIPS were accurate, only 5 out of the series' 139 episodes would show Eric Estrada investigating and likely not solving a crime. The other 134 episodes would feature him filling out paperwork or responding to fender benders around LA. I don't know if it would have been enough to make boomers come around on defunding the police, but a girl can dream. This misrepresentation also leads people to believe police work is a lot more dangerous than it is. In fact, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, police officers see fewer job-related fatalities than landscapers, truck drivers, steel workers, farmers, and even loggers. More often than not, police are escalating the level of violence in a situation, not preventing it. Myth 2. The police exist to protect us. If you're like my dad and you've watched every police show since NBC's musical cop drama Cop Rock, you might get the impression that officers are constantly risking their lives to protect average citizens. But legally speaking, that's a big old no. In fact, after the 2018 shooting in Parkland, Florida, a federal judge determined that police have no constitutional obligation to intervene if they see a citizen in imminent danger, a decision backed up by the Supreme Court. So let me reiterate. The cops have no legal obligation to protect you even if you are in danger. Myth 3. The police frequently catch criminals. One of the most prevalent Hollywood tropes is the cop who bends the rules because they'll do anything to get their man. Beyond legitimizing dangerous behavior, this isn't even remotely accurate because the majority of reported crimes are never solved. In 2018, only about 45% of crimes reported to police in this country were considered resolved. And the Washington Post found that in the last 10 years, there were 26,000 unsolved murders in cities across the US. Broken down by category, 38% of reported murders go unsolved, 66% of reported rapes go unsolved, and 70% of reported robberies go unsolved. The reason I say reported is because it's estimated that only about 42% of people who've been victims of or witnessed violent crimes have even reported them in the first place. And many cop shows actively consult with police departments in the creation of their own propaganda. Since the 50s, TV producers of scripted dramas have partnered with departments seeking to improve their public image. And non-fiction shows like Cops and Live PD, where police are also given final say on what goes on air, have even been responsible for covering up police wrongdoings. So when these shows depict law enforcement doing something wrong, it's almost always framed as a necessity to keep communities safe. According to a Color of Change study that looked at 350 episodes of 26 different police shows, methods like excessive force, violent interrogation, or illegal searches are overwhelmingly depicted as heroic moves. What's even more upsetting is that the propaganda works. A 2015 study from St. John's Fisher College found that viewers of crime dramas are more likely to believe that police are successful at lowering crime and use force only when necessary. Oh man, is there a laughing, crying, confused, horrified emoji? Because that's how I feel right now. But when we pull back the curtain on what cops actually do on a day-to-day basis, the realities behind policing wouldn't make for good TV. It's often a boring job, and the police are frequently sent into situations that they have little to no training or capacity to handle. Former Dallas Police Chief David Brown admitted as much in 2016, saying, "Every societal failure, we put it on the cops to solve. Not enough mental health funding, let the cop handle it. Not enough drug addiction funding, let's give it to the cops. Here in Dallas, we have a loose dog problem. Let's have the cops chase loose dogs. Schools fail, give it to the cops." Policing was never meant to solve all those problems. This is one point where police and activists looking to defund or abolish the police actually agree. Policing will never be able to solve these societal problems. That's why the move to defund the police doesn't just mean getting rid of policing as we know it. It means reinvesting in solutions that prioritize de-escalation, mental health needs, and building safer communities through long-term investment. None of which will ever make for great TV, unless it's like a Parks and Rec reboot. Expecting police in our cities to be like the ones we see on TV simply isn't realistic, and turning to them as our only solution for any grievance, criminal or otherwise, is undoubtedly leading to harm. Coming up with solutions that keep all of us safe and acknowledging these disparities can start with ending our cultural obsession with propaganda and romanticizing police on TV. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Franchesca. We'll see you next time right here on Decoded.